We have the Obamas on vacation. 60 rooms. 60 rooms these people are taking. Michelle and her entourage over there, one of the finest hotels in the world.
Can you just imagine how many rooms it takes for the president to have for his various selves?
Well, yeah, he's just got to have a couple rooms for his ego.
Exactly.
So, is the president a narcissist? Dan Gaynor says he's the Narcissist-In-Chief, and he's from the Media Research Council. He's on the line with us. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing great, but then again, I'm not Barack Obama, so maybe I'm not.
You're not doing as well as he is. So why do you say he's the Narcissist-In-Chief?
Well, because we did a tally back last year and found out the man talked a lot about himself. So I determined to do that again. And what we found is that the man talks about himself so much that, he basically always talks.
And when you say you're talking about the Media Research Center, you guys that check the newscast and all this and tally up things, right?
Yeah, and what we did, we found out the man talks about himself quite literally 16,000 times since he's taken office.
Wow.
I mean, that's a number I can barely get my head around. And if you were to say I talked about myself, let's say once a day, at that rate, it would take you 40-some years to catch up to what Obama's done in formal speeches and press conferences and stuff like that since he took office, so a year and a half.
Now, when you say he talks about himself, you're talking about when he uses I or me or things like this, right?
Exactly.
Have you compared these to other presidents like Bush or Reagan or anybody else?
It's hard to do it just because what's available on the web, is more every year. And White House gives the Obama administration some credit. They're fairly tech savvy, and so they are quite literally putting everything on the web. So it's still a hassle to do it. But what's more amazing is that he keeps saying it.
Now, when you say he keeps saying it, what do you give us some examples of some of the things he's been saying?
Let's see. When he talks about the economy, his response, he was up talking to Pennsylvanians about how bad their economy was up there, and his comment is always I. You would hear him talking about pretty much any topic. That goes back, and we found speeches and press conferences where he used the word I more than 100 times.
Now, is this just playing devil's advocate here? Could this be a good thing in that he's trying to take ownership of some of these things that are going on, and so that he can say, I am responsible, or is it just, I'm going to do this, or in other words, is when he's referring to himself,
Alexander Haig, I'm in charge here, kind of thing.
So he's not taking responsibility. He's just talking about himself.
Yeah, he's just talking about stuff. He basically talks about himself. You would see. And we didn't do this because what's bearable for human beings to tally. But the word "we" doesn't crop up very often. He doesn't. It's sort of George Bush got a lot of heat for the imperial presidency, but Barack Obama is much more imperial in the way he handles things.
So, what effect do you think this is having on people? I mean, is there as George Bush would say, a subliminal effect to where people see this? And are they cotton into this, or do they? Is it a positive reaction, negative reaction, or have you even gauged that at all?
I think more and more we see people are catching on to it, and when they do, they're not happy about it. I think they see, even some of his own supporters see it, and they're not thrilled about it.
So,
look at his numbers keep going down. The more people find out what he's doing, and when he was running for office, you can be kind of an ego guy. Because people vote for ego guys. I mean, look, Bill Clinton was an ego guy. They voted for him.
Right.
But when you win, it goes from being me to us. He's my president just as he is yours. And the lefties running around for 8 years saying George Bush was their president. Barack Obama is my president. I'm not happy about it, but he is. And so that's the truth of it.
Well, is it getting more and more frequent that he's doing this, or have you gauged that at all?
It just hasn't let up. When you see it most, and I really urge people to look for this, is if he does a town hall or a press conference. Either one of those, is likely to result in a lot of eye work.
So when he falls off the teleprompter in his ad-libbing, that's when you're going to hear that, right?
But even sometimes the teleprompter, but particularly when it's Obama choosing the words himself, the number one word he turns to is I.
Well, I mean, a lot of folks have thought this of him. He spent his birthday alone, I guess, with a mirror, didn't he?
Yeah, his wife and kids were elsewhere. It could just be circumstantial. I mean, I'm only willing to bust the man so much, but it's a great metaphor for the Obama presidency. He's with his favorite person.
Well, can you imagine that he maybe sang "Happy Birthday" to himself? Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
Can, but more than anything else, though, I can imagine how the media would have played this if George Bush was this way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, George Bush, people in public say dumb things sometimes. George Bush certainly did. Sometimes he would follow words, as you were pointing out. That was part of the character. Well, Obama talks about himself all the time, and the media don't want to talk about that at all.
Yeah. So nobody else has really picked up on this except for you guys.
Well, we picked it up when we did it last year. There was later on, and it could just be circumstantial, and there's like Karl Rove and others doing some tallies about what Obama said. So there's always hope people will catch on.
And more people are catching on. So this feeling that people are getting, you think this may be tied to the fact that he's becoming more and more egocentric, and that may be related to his poll numbers going down.
He doesn't like the abuse he gets in the job.
He's very thin-skinned. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that comes out. I think that's part of the narcissistic personality.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, people who are thin-skinned,
literally thousands of people.
Right, people who are thin-skinned usually are a little bit hung up on themselves. They don't like the criticism.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So nothing we can do about it, I guess, but just watch it in amazement, huh?
Well, and that we can pick better next time.
Yeah. Next time we won't be so stupid. So, but of course. Then you have the Bob Doles of the world who talked to himself about himself in third person. That's a little bit too detached, isn't it?
Yeah, there's detached and there's creepy bizarre.
Yeah,
we don't want that either.
That's right. Well, so you've got this study up on your website at the Media Research Center?
Yes, there's actually my column. You can find it both on the Business and Media Institute, or you can find it on FoxNews.com.
FoxNews.com. All right, Dan, always a pleasure to talk with you. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. So I was going to say I appreciate that, but you just start dropping that stuff, or they'll be tallying me before long.
The Phil Valentine Show.
The mean-spiritedness continues after this
on the Westwood One Radio Network.